I'm curious to see how you guys are feeling during your pregnancy. So how's the pregnancy going and how are you doing?
Who, me?
Whoever wants to go first.
I'll just go because I started talking first, I guess. Pregnancy is going really well with the virus and everything going on. I have to say I'm super stressed out. Not only because I'm pregnant, but I do have asthma and so does my 4-year-old. So we're like just a little on edge with everything going on. But being home has been awesome outside of everything else.
Nice.
Personally, I enjoy being home with my son, even though he gets a little bored and I get bored. I mean, it's bound to happen.
I get it. Oh, okay. So, Tiff, did you want to tell us how you're doing? How's your pregnancy? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. So I'm working from home. My husband's working from home, and then all 3 of my children are here for the rest of the school year, and they are 6, 8. We already talked about this, and 12.
You remembered.
Yeah, I know. So this is number 4. So it is very busy.
Well, is it busy because like
Busy.
everybody's home? Do you think it would have been less busy if COVID didn't happen?
Yes, because everybody would be in their prospective place.
True. That's true.
I would be at work. This baby, but dealing with this baby, with it being number 4, and this is going to be my 4th C-section, it's been a little bit crazy. I'm high risk because I have high blood pressure.
Oh.
So that is one thing. And the day after I found out I was pregnant, I broke both of my ankles. Yes. So I had
Sorry, my face. So like,
yeah, so I had to have surgery awake.
What?
Yeah. So I've been quarantined already. Like my 2020 started in October.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody else is like catching up to what I've been going through already. So I've been dealing with a lot already in this pregnancy, and I feel like, I don't know, I think like when you do anything and it's your last time doing it, it just seems like to be like, oh, this one time is going to give me all the problems that you would never think of, and it's your last time. That's how I feel like this pregnancy is going. But she's been doing really good. She's moving around. I start going to the doctors once a week starting next week until my due date, which is June 1st. They're going to take the baby. I had a full discussion with my hospital. They're opening a new birthing center, which is really, really nice. And it's not attached to the hospital at all. So, yeah, so that made me feel a lot more comfortable dealing with, COVID and being mixed up with different patients. My husband will be able to be there with me for the delivery. I did confirm that. And he will actually get free dinner and breakfast and lunch too.
Oh, that's nice.
They don't want him going to to other places to try to get something to eat, or the cafeteria even.
And is this because of COVID?
Yep, so they provide everything for him and I. The only thing is who's gonna watch the kids that are already home. That's what we're
that
trying
was my question for you.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So grandma is saying she's gonna come up.
Nice.
So we'll see what happens. But I think this pregnancy has just been a whirlwind. I wanted to have my last big baby shower blowout. My mom was gonna plan this big baby shower, and that's canceled. It's just like, you up and down. It's just kind of like,
So before you got, well, not before you got pregnant, once you found out you were pregnant, like what was y'all's number one goal during this pregnancy? Because both of you guys already have children. So what was your number one goal? Like this baby, I definitely got to make sure this happened.
Oh, I think I didn't have any goals really with this pregnancy. I think I've been a lot more relaxed with this pregnancy. I haven't been as anxious. Like the only anxious part of my pregnancy was finding out the gender because I really wanted a girl, but we're having a boy.
I'm a boy. I got 2 boys.
Can we trade?
Well, I wasn't the only one disappointed. My son really wanted a little sister so much that he wanted us to redo the gender reveal balloon with him. And he was like, this time, Mommy, fill it up with pink stuff. And I was like, I wish it was that easy. But I mean, I think my goal with this, when this baby comes, I had more goals with when the baby comes. Obviously, I still want to breastfeed. I hope I get to breastfeed this time. I breastfed my son for 2.5 years. So if I don't produce enough to do that this time, I think it'll be a big challenge and learning curve since I didn't have that the first time.
True.
Yeah.
For me, my number one, I was actually saying the day that I found out, I was like, okay, so I have to stick to this exercise regimen. And it was so heartbreaking. I literally fell off a curb and broke my ankles and couldn't exercise. So it was just like the most heartbreaking thing. That was my one goal, was to have an exercise regimen, because I did that with my third one, and it was just, everything was smoother. Everything was just much smoother. I didn't struggle with high blood pressure until like the very end. So I knew that was something that I wanted to make sure I did, which I didn't get to do, which is fine. But I'm looking forward to when I do have this baby, that breastfeeding. But I've been more successful as a pumper than a breastfeeder. And I guess I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with that. But I want to, since I know I have to go, I'm going back to work. I want to be able to continue to pump, continue to find ways that I can keep my milk supply up for at least 6 months, because that hasn't been it. I haven't been able to keep my supply as good as it was when I first have the baby. In 6 months. 6 months, I normally start to dwindle down. So it would be.
That's where a CLC would come in. We talked to one. Her name is Sabrina Butler. She does virtual consultations. If you guys needed that.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, that's good.
I literally talked to her this week. She's like, oh my God, I mean, like moms who have surgery, moms for this, moms who want to wean, So if you guys want her contact, I would definitely connect you to her, because she's all about it.
Absolutely. Wow. I kind of wish I had that resource maybe before he brought me Starbucks. I was like, please.
So sweet.
Go outside.
Thank you for your service in every way.
Yes, thank you.
He gets so embarrassed when people say that. He's like, you're welcome.
Aww.
But I feel like with my son, I breastfed for so long, but mostly I was so scared to wean him, because that was how I put him to bed. Like, we had a real bad sleep crutch there. Like, I nursed him to sleep till forever. I mean, I still get in bed with him, lay with him till he goes down. he was in our bed until last summer. So
no judgment. I still co-sleep. Don't judge me.
I mean, I love sleeping next to him, but it was really hard at first because it's such a big adjustment, and it was hard for my husband. I mean, sharing the bed and always, you know, like we would literally sleep and wake up in the same position because we were so scared to move at night. So I promised, I guess I did have a goal in mind. I promised myself this time we would put the baby in the baby's room if we could earlier, because it was harder and it still is hard. Even now, my son, you know, Mommy, when the baby comes, you're not going to sleep in here? He thinks I sleep in there all night. I just come in at like 5 a.m. and roll in there when he wakes up. And I'm like, no, it's too early. I'll sleep in there.
Well, I'm going to give you the one advice that I wish somebody told me about breastfeeding. Since you have a son that loves to breastfeed, you might not want to breastfeed in front of him at first. And the only reason why I say that, you might, and the only reason why I say that is because I did that with my second one in front of my first one. And my first one, mind you, was 5 years old. And he started to like revert back. Like he was like, but wait, I want, he was like, that's mine. Like I want to get back on the breast. I was like, no, this is not happening. Like you just walked in here and you said that in a full sentence. You will never get this back. Get out of here.
My son is still like that.
It
like,
was crazy.
If we're laying around or cuddling, he's always like touching me or trying to get close, and I'm like, stop.
I was like, oh my God.
You're like
what did
5
I do? I was like, what did I do? And the lactation specialist actually said, she said, you might want to just, you know, hold off a little bit longer breastfeeding in front of him. Mm-hmm. But she was like, if you have to, you have to. But she was like, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Because he was, I don't know what that was. He was just, he wanted to revert back. He was like, I want to be a baby again. I was just looking at him like,
no.
I don't think my son has grown out of that phase, to be honest. He's still like very like attached to me. So I'm always concerned
young, though, right? You say he's 3?
4. He'll be 5 in July, and I'm due July 2nd. So
so you might share. They might share birthdays.
Maybe, yeah. He was on the 10th, and this one they have. My due date is July 2nd, but my anatomy scan, they said June 28th. So we're kind of like end of June, early July. Who knows, really? But
oh my gosh. We'll see. Well, they're gonna definitely siblings with similar close birthdays. Me and my sister, it's August 6th, August 8th. So.
Oh, nice.
We definitely shared birthdays, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then my next question to you guys: who's your support team? And especially with COVID going on, like I know it's hard because I talked to some postpartum moms who just had their babies, and they're like, the support that I thought I was gonna have isn't coming, and I'm curious to see, like, even after all of this, are you guys risking it all and bringing your support people in your homes to help you out, especially after baby? What does that look like?
That's a hard no for me. Not right now. I would love to have my mom or his mom come down. If everything doesn't calm down by that point, I don't think it's happening, just for everyone's health and safety. I mean, I have my husband, and it's kind of like all I have right now here, since we are military. You know, I have like 2 girlfriends, but you know, they're both quarantining, so I can't really like be like, hey, come over, help. But I mean, not that I need it right now, but our plan is just my husband. So we're at a point where I don't even know if my husband's allowed at the hospital. We haven't gone in for that appointment to see if he's allowed to come in. If he does come in, what are we doing with my son? Or is he gonna just hang back and it's gonna just be me in the delivery room? We haven't really gone over all that. So it's a little daunting, to be honest.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Do you think, like, so could you agree that this is all mental at this point because of the coronavirus, on how to like how the pregnancy unfolds?
Yeah, I think it's so much unknown, and I don't do well with that. I'm an overthinker and over warrior, so I'm always like, oh no. I like to know what's gonna happen, or at least have some kind of plan, and it's kind of hard to plan without going in for that appointment and getting my answer or questions answered, and then also not being able to rely on a family member flying in and being there. But it's good as baby number 2. I feel like first time moms are going to have a bigger struggle, to be honest, just because everything is so new. I know with my son, like even with his first bath, I made my mom do it at home. And I just watched her because I was so scared to do everything. So I feel like I'm a little more relaxed in knowing what to do with the baby and kind of what to expect. And I kind of already know like it's going to be around the clock feeding, and it's not as anxiety ridden as postpartum was the first time around because I didn't know.
True. So is there any, I mean, you guys can go if you guys want to answer too.
For me, so as I was saying before, we're thinking about Brandon's mother actually coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I at first it was like a hard no, nobody could come in, nobody can go out type thing. The issue is that I broke down. We actually had a similar situation like this happen on when I had the third one. A bad flu case came over to Northern Virginia, and somebody went and visited a baby, and the baby passed in one of the hospitals up here. And so they went on ahead and said nobody can come in to visit you, like nobody under 18, and it had to be like your mom, your dad, or your sister or brother, and of course your husband. So Brandon had to stay home. He was there for the delivery, but then had to go back home to pick up the kids from school. And I was left there by myself, and I had a total breakdown. And my husband's like, no, I'm not gonna risk that again. He was like, I was on the phone with you trying to calm you down. So he was like, I'd rather not even risk that happening. So he rather had the risk of his mother coming up and staying with us for a little while. She's more so there to help with the bigger kids than with the littler kids, but that is a major help because um, she can finish off school with them. Um, she also normally takes them down there for the summer. So if COVID kind of goes away a little bit or calms down, then maybe they can go back down there with her. So it's kind of like you said, up in the air. Um, I think you said, is it mental? I think it just goes against naturally, like this whole COVID thing, the unknowns of it, it goes against what we naturally do as at this time. Like in our third trimester, we're nesting, we're planning, we're trying to gain control for the most part of what we can have control over, right? And I just feel like it takes that away in a sense because we don't have control over who can be in the hospital. For instance, I had planned to have a doula with me, even though I'm having a C-section. I wanted to still have a doula, and no doulas are allowed in the hospital where I'm delivering. So some of the support that I was planning on having is not, going to be able to be there. Now, my husband being there, I know I can survive just fine with him being there. But I had to prepare myself at one point, like the possibility of Brandon not being there, because it was a thing going around where they were like, well, we don't know if the dads will be able to be in the delivery room.
That's, I have, if that happens, I think that's a very bad call. I get the health coronavirus. It's a bad call on the hospitals and the birth centers because how is the mom's birth story gonna play out? Because ultimately we have to protect the birth story. So that's the only thing I'm worried about if they're not letting at least one birthing partner come in.
They actually said for Northern Virginia, and I appreciated this, they said that they're fighting to ensure that we can at least have one partner, but you know, the father to be there with the mother and the baby. And that felt good to me, because that felt like, okay, y'all are not going to just allow, like, they're taking precautions, but we're not going to just like totally ruin your experience you know, of having this baby. And I appreciated that. I also went on ahead and got my therapist and told her we'll be doing virtual sessions afterwards. Because I was like, because I don't know what this, like, I'm okay now, but I don't know what this after effect of this pandemic can do to me later. I don't know if I'll have postpartum depression. I don't know what it'll do. So I told her, I said, look, just make an appointment for about good 2-3 weeks afterwards, and we can do some virtual sessions. And she was like, I'm all for it. She was like, I think that's a good idea, just to be prepared for whatever may come. She was like, you don't know how you're going to go home feeling.
Definitely being proactive. That is important. So how are you guys? Tiffany. Okay, did you want to say something?
What was the question?
Your support team. So basically, what does your support team look like, even with coronavirus? Or even you can tell us what you thought your support was going to look like before the pandemic hit all of us.
Well, luckily I have family my parents are an hour away. So I'll have my husband there, obviously. I don't know that that my parents will be able to come to the hospital, but at least I'll have them here with the kids. That's about all I was expecting anyway. So it's not going to change much as far as what I envisioned or what I wanted, as long as my husband's allowed to be there. If he's not, that's a game changer, but I'm hoping that won't change.
That is a game changer, because it boils down to, if they don't let that partner in who's advocating for mommy when she can't advocate for herself. And then also, I've learned that we make sure you're advocating for your newborn too. And then it's like, and if mommy can't advocate for baby, who's going to advocate for baby? So I hope that they allow you guys to have your birth partner in there. And okay, so then my next question is, do you have a birth plan? And if you did have one, how much has changed from the original, if it has changed?
I guess I'll go. It's funny that you asked that, because while we've been quarantining, we've been cleaning a lot of stuff we've been avoiding for the last year probably. And I came across my son's birth plan. And I remember being a first-time mom was so different for me than this experience has been with this pregnancy, even with all the stress of the pandemic. I was so nervous about every little thing. Like, I researched till my brain was like absolute mush, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I was so indecisive about everything, and I had this beautiful birth plan written out, and I don't think we followed any of it. Like, I don't even remember it being there. Like, I remember giving it to the doctor. There was a couple things on there, like, I didn't want them to induce me. I had to go in and be induced, actually, because my amniotic sac fluid had dried up. It was like all gone. So that was like one thing gone. And then the other thing was, I wanted to do the first bath, and I was stuck in bed. There was no way I was getting up. So my wish was for my husband to do it. And another funny one was, I didn't want them to cut the umbilical cord till it stopped pumping. And I'm pretty sure it was cut as soon as the baby was out. And I know for a fact nobody really took that birth plan seriously, but I think in the moment, I wasn't worried about any of that stuff. Like, I was just worried about the baby being okay, me being okay and healthy, and that was it. Like all of those things I thought were going to be important absolutely weren't. So this time I'm probably going to have the similar things on there, but I'm not going to be as stressed out as I was the first time. Like I remember giving it to him, like, you guys have to follow this. And then in the heat of the moment, I forgot, they forgot. And no one was, you know, it was more like, is the baby okay? Am I okay? Like, and that was all I could even think about.
So to interject, to make sure, I get that birth plans change, but that's the perfect time, or this time is the perfect time to sit with your husband and say, look, babe, if I can't get A, B, and C, I know I can get cord clamping if the baby is healthy. You know, I know I can get skin to skin once the baby is born. And that, Zuleika, is how you empower your husband and how he feels empowered. Because believe it or not, yeah, we all have a birth story as women, but they do too. Dads want to feel included. So if you want, I would definitely recommend sitting down with him and like, this has to happen. Let's just see. I mean, I'm not going to stretch the judgment, but this is what I would like.
I think we had that conversation the first time. And what I'm saying is like, I really don't know if it was what happened when I started pushing or went into labor. I mean, mind you, I had an epidural. I was not against it. I
like epidural.
I'm scared to go through a regular childbirth. It terrifies me. It really does. And I always watch videos because I admire women who have like the courage, and they're like, I can do this. I can't. I don't think I can. It's just I'm not good with pain. So I know I was just so numb, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna get this done. And I cared about nothing else. So it might be just something I need to be more conscious of in the moment. It's like, hey, these are things I asked for and wanted. I want them respected.
Yes. Stand up to them doctors. That's all I say. Stand up, because at the end of the day, I always say you're paying them for a service.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you said that, like, this time you're going to probably be a little bit more lax, because I think this is the one time that I'm going to be a little bit more stringent. Because I've had a birthing plan for all of my children that I've had. The first one, same thing. That's why I was laughing, because I was like, oh my God, that was the same thing that happened. I did all this research. I did the birthing plan. Nothing went to plan on that birthing plan for the first one. But it all worked out. This time I probably will be a little bit more stringent, because normally I'm not like, oh, I have to do the baby bath, or my husband. This time I think I'm gonna say I want my husband to do the, baby's bath. I do want more skin to skin, because I've learned that even though you have a C-section, they can give you skin to skin time. So there's some things I guess I've just learned over repeated babies that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kind of make sure like they stick to it. Now I will say my doctor is really good at making sure she not only understands the birthing plan, but the nurses understand the birthing plan. Because I think I've had a hard time with the nurses more than I had a hard time with the doctor. Like the nurses are like, here goes like a new mom, or, we'll do what we do best. We know how to deal with this. And I'm more like, now I'm kind of like, you're going to do what I want. It's my baby. So yeah, I will have a birthing plan for this one. Just probably a little bit more rules, I guess. I don't know. More wants, more asks.
Yes. Please do it. Put those nurses in check, y'all. Please. And I get that they have their little shift changes and the personality changes. But at the end of the day, even if you remind them, if they like, get a little crazy, being a doula, like, hold up, this mom is birthing right now. Like, this is her birthing time. And you will protect my story. And if you don't want to be here, you can leave. I'm sure there's another mom you can help out.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, Tiffany. Do you want to?
Sorry. I'm distracted.
I know you have your baby girl.
I don't necessarily have a concrete birthing plan, only because I've done that before, and both times they ended up being C-sections. I have been approved for a VBAC. So I kind of have an overall idea of what I would like to happen, but I'm kind of weary of being too set on it just because of what's happened in the past, and I don't want to stress myself out if that doesn't happen on top of all this COVID stuff. So my plan is to wait it out, let nature take its course. Hopefully, if I go into labor on my own, then we'll take it as it comes. If I don't go into it on my own by like 42 weeks, then we have to look at a C-section regardless. But I'm just holding out hope. My plan is just gonna go as the process goes. We'll see what happens towards the end of the pregnancy.
I think you guys are doing great. Well, even it just guys do the birth plan. And like I said, just make sure everybody on your birthing team knows what's going on. And I would always recommend what I would do, not that you, because you guys are like experienced moms, but something that helped was to print a copy out for the nurse's station so they could have it. So I would drop one off at the nurse's stations like, hey, just in case y'all about to leave, somebody else comes, this is for room 222. And then they just know, and they know that you're aware, and they'll take you serious. And even if things go away from your birthing plan, even if they give you one wish, one thing off your list, that's still good enough than not getting anything, I think. So anyway, is there anything else you guys want us to know about what you're feeling, how you like anything that you want to share? Are you guys good?
I would just say at this time, with everything that's going on, just continue to focus on the blessings. Yes, your baby overall is a blessing to you and your family, but also recognize the blessings around you. Look at the silver linings. I tell you, one of mine that I am so grateful for is that one, I've gotten to come home and work from home. That's really happy for, I'm really good for me, because my manager's been lenient now. She understands I have 3 other kids that have to homeschool now, and I'm home, I'm pregnant, and she's just kind of like, look, if you need to take a nap and make up the time later on, take a nap, make up the time later on. I can't do that in the office. I can't take a nap. So I mean, that is great. Another thing is my husband was happy. He doesn't have to go shopping with me anymore to buy maternity clothes.
It's not that
I was getting bigger. My stomach started to get bigger when COVID like happened. And so he was like, oh my God, we're going to have to go shopping again because you're starting to not fit your clothes anymore. And so now I'm just like in t-shirt and shorts all day, or, sweatpants or whatever. So, I mean, it's different things that I am trying to focus on. And I just hope that other pregnant mommies are looking at that too. There are other things that, even though everything might not go as planned, there's a lot that is going on that is good.
That's real. So. Well, that's the end of the Boom Baby Chat, guys. Thank you for participating. I just wanted to check on you pregnant mommies because this is crazy time for y'all. That's it.
Thank you for having us, Candace.
You're welcome. Thank you for talking. It was this easy. It ain't even that deep.